The year was 2047. Earth was finally achieving the peace it had always desired. Space travel and the colonization of Mars were attainable goals. The future and everything it contained looked bright and full of promises. But then, they arrived. The Vasarians came without warning. All over the globe, the best and brightest of us, our leaders, scientists, and authors, vanished without a trace. Having targeted us where it hurt the most, the world fell into chaos. Governments fell. Countries toppled overnight. Billions died in the subsequent wars and upheaval that followed. Us remainders, and those who had survived, thought it couldn't get worse. We were wrong. The Vasarians came back, and thus began the Century of Terror. Much of the records from the beginning of the Century of Terror have been lost to us. What little we have shows that the Vasarians polluted our atmosphere so much that much of the land became uninhabitable. Snow fell 11 months of the year in some places, and temperatures dropped to 30 degrees below zero. In others, it became so hot that the very lakes and rivers boiled up and disappeared. The cruel Vasarians did not stop with destroying our beautiful planet. Since almost all of the Earth was now uninhabitable, we were forced into relocation settlements deep underground. We never saw the sweet sunlight again. All surviving remainders were enslaved and forced to create things for the good of our overlords. All of our energies were put towards all things Vasarian. Food was scarce. We were fed only just enough to survive. Those who fell ill or weakened were left to die. We were broken. It seemed all hope was lost. But then, our savior was born! His real name was William Jeffers, but he was given a new name by his followers, one taken from a banned religious text of the before era. Moses. The man who would come to lead the glorious revolution. Moses' wife, Vanessa, was brutally executed for trying to help a sickly companion. Moses snapped. From that point on, he vowed to do whatever it took to overthrow the Vasarians. And thus began the glorious revolution. In Vanessa's name, Moses started small. He successfully stole extra food to prepare his people for rebellion and make them strong. He stockpiled weapons and quietly trained groups in how to use them. The reclaimers of the earth were determined, and that made up for their inexperience. After a long and terrible struggle, at long last, the reclaimers were victorious against their oppressors. We were able to take control of our own destiny and begin the task of slowly rebuilding society.
Now, it's your turn. You represent the future of our society. In your minds are the keys to recreating what we once were and unlocking what we can be. We must not let the Vasarians win. Their legacy is one of fear and oppression. Ours will be one of growth and prosperity. Go forth and create a better future. Long live New Earth!
Saved us from the hideous Vasarian scourge.
It is amazing how well the secret has been buried.
Grandfather, you always talk about your time as a reclaimer in riddles. I never know what you mean.
Pauline, I speak in riddles to preserve your innocence. But you, my dear, you need to know the truth of what happened. You must understand that this is to protect you from the worst threat we ever faced.
The Vasarian?
If only it had been the Vasari.
They'll stare off into the...
I was younger then. We were suddenly somewhere very different. I remember a sensation of floating in a white room. I heard, felt their thoughts, words. They called themselves the voice of unity. Billions will die. That's what they told us. So what does that make us? We didn't understand. We were angry, naive. They called us the future. They were claimers.
Alright, go.
They understood something that seemed so hard to grasp all those years ago. We used to always talk about having to save the Earth, how the seas were going to rise, continents going to sink, and the Earth we knew would be gone forever. Climate upheaval. Looking back, we were so foolish. Hell, we all were. The Earth isn't fragile. You can't kill a planet. You can fuck up a whole lot of stuff, but it's really inconsequential in the scheme of things. That was always our problem. We always talked about saving the Earth when it was always about saving ourselves. We talked about the legacy we would leave behind, but it was uncertain if we would survive. We were already too far gone as a species at that point. The Earth was destined to kick back someday. Some creatures would be spared. A few animals and plants, maybe even a few humans would hole away and ride out the apocalypse. It was the end of our Earth. Countless civilizations erased. Cleansing fire. A new beginning.
I then asked of them, couldn't you do anything? They appeared like gods to us. Surely that's why they had come. To save us. I was so sure. There was silence from them for a while. Then, feelings. Amusement. Nostalgia. Finally, sorrow. I wasn't really sure what that meant at the time. Still not entirely sure. Whatever it meant wasn't what we wanted to hear. We waited. We watched from this other place. Years flickered by in an instant on the surface. Generations rose and fell in the blink of an eye. Each one told the same empty promises. Each one said it would make it better, that they would save humanity from itself. They promised escape, colonization, a new start. Nothing but hollow promises. They were wrong. Each and every generation, every civilization, every damn person. And finally, there was silence. The promises stopped. The begging and the pleading towards the heaven stopped. If only they knew. If only they could have seen. Mankind, as we knew it, died that day, while its benevolent saviors watched idly from the heavens. Suddenly, everything crashed. We were left alone on the now alien surface of our planet. It was Earth, but not our Earth anymore. Their presence was gone. The voice of the Unity had fallen silent. They were gone. I don't really know. It doesn't matter much anymore. Were they so terrible? They saved enough of us so that we could rebuild. And then they were gone. And we were alone. But we were different now. We were finally united in something. We'd seen the end of our existence. The singularity for which we were destined was to go out and to find them again, to join our voice with theirs. We had tried. We really did. We were finally on our way back to Utopia. We'd finally overcome the greatest of all human imperfections. We could think beyond ourselves, beyond our progeny. We'd become a society, a species, with a single goal. But in the process, we lost ourselves. Life in our whisper was not easy. There was so much to do, there just wasn't any time. There was no greater evil than denying humanity its chance to become something more than itself. A sense of permanency, of belonging in the otherwise apathetic universe we lived in. So we pushed on. There was no time for rest, for relaxation. They were out there, waiting for us. We couldn't stop. We tried to justify this way of life by saying anyone who fell in the process gave themselves up for the greater good. We could think beyond ourselves, but our children were different. They didn't understand our obsession. They couldn't. The voice of the unity was something beyond their comprehension. It can't be explained, only experienced. It's like explaining color, sound. It's so simple. It's beyond words. There was one boy in particular. He defied us at every turn. He called us mad. He said in our madness, we made slaves out of our children. William began to talk out against us. He really was the greatest product of the survivors. He could have done so much, if only he had experienced what we were working for. But no, he always wanted more. For himself, for his people, happiness, love. What could he possibly know about these things? Humanity only had their pale imitations. If only he could have been made to understand. If only they hadn't left. He talked. They talked. They rebelled against us. We were few in number. It was quick, bloodless. William came to us. He told us they were done. The famine, the sickness, the sacrifice. It was over.
What? So the century of terror, it wasn't the Vasarians?
No. It was us. And the worst part, it was for nothing. We wasted it. We wasted everything. We destroyed our Earth for nothing. We're still alone.
So after everything that you had seen, all the lives you sacrificed for that vision, you just wasted it? And William just let you live, and he owed you nothing, but he saved you anyways?
Recording.
You see, in this moment, you represent the collective knowledge of countless iterations of humanity. We watched so many rise and fall. We were so sure of what was meant for us. We'd seen our place among the heavens. We felt our voice alongside theirs. But it wasn't for us. It's never our destiny, our place. I see that now. We were foolish, greedy. We'd become blinded by our wisdom. I can hear them again. Whispers at the edge of my consciousness. And I sense the most peculiar feeling of satisfaction. It burns so brightly now, just past the horizon. They're coming back. They're returning now. I finally understand. I understand.